Hannah Waddingham exposes this one's wife. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Many of you will be familiar with Hannah Waddingham, the actress and presenter, who has been climbing her way to national treasure status as of late, roundly praised by many who deal with her. If you're unfamiliar with her, she's an English actress, and she's known for playing businesswoman Rebecca Welton in the comedy series Ted Lasso, for which she won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series in 2021, and the Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series in 2021 and 2022. She's appeared in a number of West End shows, including Spamalot, Into the Woods, The Wizard of Oz as the Wicked Witch of the West, and she's received 3 Olivia Award nominations for her work. She's been in the 2012 film adaptation of Les Miserables, and she joined the 5th season of the HBO series Game of Thrones as Septa Unella in 2015. She co-hosted the Eurovision Song Contest in 2023 and has been coming to increased prominence. Well, it would appear that somebody, as I mentioned, who is heading towards national treasure status has been calling out the behaviour of this one's wife. Something called Desi Stargirls Fun Club, no, me neither, with an article by Afzal Agha, claims Hannah Waddingham exposes this one's wife's secrets on Late Night with Seth Meyers special. Now, we've had various instances of people criticising this one's wife, of talking about how poor her behaviours are, usually in relation to, as Simmons, the executive, stated that she and her husband were fucking grifters, and others have talked about an absence of talent. And generally, the opinion pieces that have been put forward have talked about the behaviour from a perspective of supposed royal experts. But what has caused Hannah Waddingham to enter the fray? Well, Hannah Waddingham, the Emmy-winning star renowned for her role in Ted Lasso, recently divulged some startling insights into this one's wife's past during an appearance on the Late Night with Seth Meyers show. The accomplished actress, who is currently promoting her new TV special, shared a surprising encounter she had with the Duchess of Sussex during their time working together on the TV series Suits. Waddingham, who had a guest role as a lawyer on Suits back in 2015, recounted her experience meeting this one's wife on the set. She was candid about her astonishment at this one's wife's behaviour, describing her as rude and arrogant. According to Waddingham, this one's wife exhibited diva-like behaviour and treated everyone with a sense of contempt and disdain. In her own words, this one's wife's demeanour was horrible, absolutely horrible. Waddingham further elaborated that this one's wife came across as snooty and snobbish, appearing to look down on everyone, despite her status as a supporting character on the show. This one's wife was said to frequently make demands and complaints without a trace of politeness. Waddingham shared that this one's wife's attitude towards her was especially unpleasant, and she even attempted to sabotage her performance and undermine her confidence. Allegedly, this one's wife mocked Waddingham's accent, clothing, and appearance, and directed snide remarks and dirty looks her way. She conveyed her disbelief at the extent of this one's wife's unkindness, recounting how this one's wife belittled her for being British and labelled her as stiff upper lip, deeming her boring and lacking in talent or charisma. This one's wife even suggested that Waddingham was wasting her time on Suits and should return to her previous musical theatre career. Waddingham went on to disclose that this one's wife attempted to steal scenes and upstage her, interfering with her lines and cues. She attributed this behaviour to this one's wife's jealousy and her desire to eliminate competition, describing her as insecure and overly competitive. According to Waddingham, this one's wife was intent on being the centre of attention and resented the positive feedback Waddingham received from directors and the cast. She recounted instances where this one's wife sought to disrupt her scenes, attempting her to make her look bad through interruptions, talking over her, or altering the script. The actress expressed her shock and hurt over this one's wife's behaviour and admitted that she tried to distance herself and ignore her on set. She confessed her relief when her time on Suits came to an end and her eagerness to avoid any future interactions with this one's wife. Waddingham didn't mince words, labelling this one's wife as the worst person she had ever worked with. Their professional relationship never resumed, and Waddingham revealed she wasn't surprised to hear about the controversies this one's wife stirred within the royal family, characterising her as a nightmare to work with. Despite the negative encounter, Waddingham emphasised her contentment with her own career and life, asserting that she was unfazed by this one's wife's opinions. She took pride in her achievements and accolades, expressing gratitude for her fans and friends. Concluding her thoughts, Waddingham remarked, "I don't need this one's wife's approval or validation. I have my own success and happiness." She highlighted her wonderful show, loving family, and exceptional colleagues, stating that she was surrounded by love and support and had no room for negativity or drama in her life. Well, a strong response there from Hannah Waddingham with regard to purported behaviours by this one's wife. Certainly the behaviours that are described would be commensurate with the behaviour of a narcissist. Not liking the fact that somebody else was gaining the attention, seeking to belittle them, making snide remarks, sending dirty looks, belittling her for being British, deeming her boring, claiming that she lacked talent or charisma, seeking to steal scenes and upstage her, being overly competitive, exhibiting insecurity. Well, certainly these are all things that you may well see in the behaviour of a narcissist, and therefore a reader of this article may well believe that those are things which occurred. However, there are a number of problems with all of this. First of all, Hannah Waddingham has never appeared in Suits. That puts paid to all of those observations. Furthermore, when she appeared on the Seth Meyers show, she made no mention at all of this one's wife. In addition, the behaviours that she describes, although they may well have been undertaken by a narcissist, one has to remember that those behaviours would have taken place in front of other people, and therefore, by being rude and arrogant on set, wouldn't necessarily be commensurate with the facade that is operated by this one's wife. We know that she can be rude, we know that she is arrogant, but often that is exhibited behind closed doors away from the manifestation of the facade. So there are a number of difficulties with all of this, in that they never actually work together. This was never spoken about on the show. And although the behaviours might be seen with a narcissist, they wouldn't necessarily, in the circumstances described, be ones that are undertaken by this one's wife because of the presence of her facade. Furthermore, even if she had been subjected to these behaviours, I very much doubt that Hannah Waddingham would have spoken about them in such a forthright manner. This is just another instance of an entirely fabricated article, as opposed to a video this time, slating this one's wife. This type of behaviour, as I've explained before, only aids this one's wife. It enables her to point to fictitious representations which are wholly untrue and say, look what's written about me, and those are lies. This, of course, then undermines all of the instances where people accurately call out her behaviour, and it reinforces in her mind her victimhood, because she is able to point to actual examples of untruths and say, see, this is what is being said about me, this is what is being written about me, and it's wholly untrue. Furthermore, her supporters are able to see that it's untrue, and it lends credence to her claims of victimhood, so that when there are instances of her being accused of behaviour which is accurate, her blinded supporters will just say, oh no, it's just another example of haters behaving nastily towards her. We saw it with what Hannah Waddingham was meant to have said about her. And they therefore reject it. The creator of this article, which has the sniff of AI about it, is simply undermining the position when it comes to this one's wife and playing into her victimhood. And it is important, as always, to report on this one's wife's behaviours and explain them through the prism of her narcissism, but also to point out instances where nonsense is being written about her. Not because I'm motivated to defend this one's wife, but because I'm interested in evidence, something I always point out to you that you need to follow and adhere to. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.